bitches. So today I wanted to do something fun with y'all, and I may actually do more of these because this is definitely not the be-all end-all of this type of video, I think, because there's way more that I have, but you know, these were just some that I thought of off the top of my head. You may hear some birds because I live very secluded and surrounded by nature. Today's video is all about affordable, cool mass market decks, and I feel like with some of these, they're not, as popular, or they've kind of been forgotten, or they never were really popular, and this is definitely one of them. What I have noticed is that with not all, but with a lot of these, I find that for me, the keywords on the cards really work and evoke a sense of, I don't know, flow in reading. So for me, it's definitely, I love looking at a pretty picture, but if the words on the card don't get me in the flow of reading, the reading kind of falls flat. So this is a favorite of mine, and I haven't used it in a while because I haven't really been feeling the angel vibes a lot lately, but this is the Teen Angel Oracle by Rita Pietro Santo with gorgeous art by Miki Okuda. Stunning set. Definitely, it's a really special deck. I picked this up when I was with Martin in London, and I was like, why would I buy a Teen Angel card? But something about it just, I don't know, triggered me, and I picked it up, and I just instantly fell in love because this very much has that Japanese, Miki Okuda is a stellar Japanese artist. And this definitely has that Japanese manga cover art vibe. It's really, really stunning. We get really good keywords. What's interesting is that Miki actually self-published this at one point. Why is there a fly over here? Go away, fly. We don't need flies. It's smoking hot up here, you guys. Like, it's honestly a little disgusting. This was actually published before by herself, and it had sort of different keywords at that point in time, but this is the English version, and I feel like it's gorgeous. I don't really get the borders though. This could have been, fine as a full bleed image because the image does extend beyond the border, but this is a slightly, well, it's not even that old, but it's still from that era where, not everything was borderless per se. Borders were still the standard. We were beginning to see more and more borderless decks, but borders were still pretty much standard. And I don't know, I just think that, it has a good mix of light and dark keywords. It's not even that teeny. There was one card that said Crystal Fun that kind of made me roll my eyes a little bit. And then there's another one that says Electronics Overload that could be considered geared towards teenagers, but I feel like Blue Angel missed the mark a little bit by marketing this as a teen deck because, they should have done that in 2004 when, Doreen was still queen, or 2006, whenever the hell that was. Not 2018, but this is not necessarily a deck for teens. The guidebook is nothing to write home about, but I feel like the art in combination with the gorgeous keywords that make sense, with the art, I think it's just a stellar little set. So it's a really special, it's a really special deck. I love it, and I will never let go of it. I do kind of hate the back design. I really wish they would have asked Miki to create a nice back design, or maybe just reuse the card art, but this is not it. But it's a really, really, really fun usable, good, simple deck. Another one in that same angelic sphere, and I don't think this gets overlooked, but I do feel like in this community we have our flavor of the month hype decks, and once the month is over we have our new flavor of the month deck, and this sometimes feels like it got that treatment. Angels Among Us by Victoria Maxwell. Really, really, really good and fun deck. Love it. This neon pink edging, hello. It's a really modern interpretation. All the angels are normal people, and every angel or, you know, god, goddess, saint has 3 key concepts that you can work with. I love this one. This is my favorite card. You know, and once again, I like this a lot because, you know, the art was created by Ellie Grant. She did a tremendous job. I feel like this totally fits Vix's vibe and Vix's aesthetics. And then Vix wrote the guidebook and the text on the cards, and it's just absolutely stunning. So, yeah, I really like it. I love it. I love this deck. I also love the backs. I love it's a whole vibe. Like, even the guidebook is so well, like, produced, and there's so much text in it, and it's really helpful. But you could use these cards straight out of the box without the guidebook and still have, like, fabulous readings. You don't always, like, you know, sometimes it's just fun to have a good deck of cards like this. The Earthly Souls and Spirits Moon Oracle, which is fairly new. This would right now, I think, considered as the flavor of the month, newer release. Tarot card size. This does nothing but give us a great keyword to riff off of, and gorgeous art. And I feel like all the keywords in this deck I can use in a reading. Works amazing. It's definitely not a deck where I read very much into the art. It's very much a keyword deck for me. I believe by now everyone has seen this. You know, this deck has been around, y'all, so... You know, oh, look at that. It's so cute. It's a really, really, really good deck. It's really good. I'm so glad I have it. I was like, I'm not the biggest fan of US games anymore. But, you know, like, what publisher isn't problematic right now? So, you know, you might as well not... you might as well not order from any publisher. But it's really, really good. It's good stuff. I love how obvious it is that these were actual paintings. Some people are like, "Oh, the art looks so grainy." Yeah, that's because it was made on an actual canvas, and this is the canvas lines you're seeing. So yeah, it's a really good set. Looks gorgeous. Definitely replaced all my Season of the Witch decks because I don't have those anymore. This is kind of that vibe for me. The next one is sort of a duo. The Sacred Forest Oracle and the Sacred Destiny Oracle, both by Denise Lin and an unnamed graphic designer that does a lot of work for Hay House, but apparently doesn't want to be credited so hard. Which is completely fine, but I found it a little bit weird. I did find him, I did find his website, and he does show these decks on there, but, you know, it's just a commission. That's what it is. It's a commission, and then you just move on with your day. But I really happen to like his art. Do I like all of it? No. Do I like most of it? Yes. This is another one where it's very... much keyword driven. The backs on both of these are gorgeous, by the way. Good keywords, fun keywords, easy to use keywords. You know, you don't have to. There is actually some content in these guidebooks, but you don't have to delve into them per se, because we do get like we get good, and sometimes that's just all you need, you know. A good keyword, a good key concept, and you're good to go. The Sacred Destiny, I feel, that's this one, is a little bit more mature feeling. Sometimes I feel like I love fairy realms and fairy worlds, but this feels a bit more grounded in reality. This feels a bit more, you know, something that 15, 16-year-old Levi would have found really deep and cool. And now I'm kind of like, yeah, it's cool, but it's also a little childish sometimes. And, you know, that doesn't matter. It's just what it is. But I don't know, like Denise has, you know, done a lot of decks for Hay House. I hate this picture though. Like, can we please, I don't know, like, when it's literally a whole, I love these 3D rendered, cheesy looking PlayStation 1 graphic art cards if it's a full deck of those, not when it's, you know, one card will have photo collage, one card, the other card will have this. I don't do that. So, oh, there was a unicorn in here as well. I think it was the same one, but I've never flipped them side by side, so that's interesting. Obviously, this doesn't have a border. This does. They're very interchangeable, I'd say. Yet for aesthetic reasons, I wanted to have them both. They do kind of pull you into a different vibe. And, you know, it's really pretty. I'm not going to show all of them, but, you know, and they're good decks. You can use them well. They have good keywords, you know, and that's, at the end of the day, that's all I need. Like, I know a lot of people find that really weird, but I don't really, I don't know. I'm reading cards. I'm not like necessarily with Oracle decks really delving into the artwork, nor really with tarot decks. Honestly, I could have you could literally give me a tarot deck with just the titles on there, and I can give you a fabulous reading. I don't really use artwork that much, but it is nice when it looks good. And when talking about looks, I feel like even though this is a slightly older, this looks a bit better, a bit more aesthetically pleasing, a bit more mature. This looks a little bit more childish, but they're both great sets, you know, and that's kind of what I wanted to talk with you guys about. Great mass market sets that are fun to use. Another duo, because these are both by Susie Cherub and Laila Savoilanen. Laila does a lot of Blue Angel art. Susie writes Blue Angel decks. And they're absolutely, like, they're a really good duo, I feel. Laila does really interesting photo manipulation that actually looks interesting, and not like a rip-off of a certain artist that we see a lot. Damn, these look good together. I mean, I gotta keep them centered a bit, though. Sorry, guys, I might be a mess, but, you know, y'all are gonna have to deal, because this is just a hobby for me. So the Star Temple is all about the Pleiadian sisters, not in the alien starseedy sense, but in the Greek mythology sense. And when I found that out, because this deck was kind of a gamble, when I found that out, I was like, I like where this woman is going with her ideas, because in the guidebook and, you know, in the writings on the card and the art choices that were made, you could see that there was a lot of mindfulness going on, a really healthy mix of intuition and actual research, which I love. And for the Water Temple, it's sort of the same. It's based on all these different pantheons that have all their own water temples around the world, and then all the deities that are connected. So there's all these suits, there's a system, there's a structure, layers upon layers for you to work with if you want to. And if you don't, it reads fine out of the box. So, yeah, I don't know, like, especially the This is still pretty new in my collection, but the Star Child, it's not Star Child, a Star Temple, I've gotten such great readings out of that. Like, oh man. And I used to do lots of readings for others with the Star Temple. Like, that was legit my best-selling reading in my Etsy store. Like, for some reason, people really gravitated toward that reading. And yeah, I don't know, like this, I feel like when it comes to, I love mythology decks about gods, goddesses, all the different pantheons. I feel like these are sort of like among the best out there. And she's coming out with a new one. She also has the Fairy Temple, which looks really different, but is also really cool. And then the new one is the Oracle of Delphi. And that looks more Daniel Noel-esque and with a different artist, and also looks really cool. So yeah, I'm a Susie fan, but I feel like her efforts aren't just haphazardly thrown out there. I feel like there is some thought, not some, but a lot of thought and time involved. And yeah, I really like it. I really like the way she writes. So on these cards you get, on both of them, you get a title. For the Star Temple, you also sort of get the suit group. For the Water Temple, that's less important to the reading. So you get a title, you get a keyword, and then you get an affirmation. So you get lots and lots of stuff to work and play with, which I like a lot. And I love that you can kind of tell that, I don't know, I really like Lila's style, and this is my favorite card out of this whole deck, together with the, and over here we already had it. Over here it's this one and this one. Really love those. So yeah, the Water Temple and the Star Temple Oracle are both top-notch, amazing decks. So we're gonna put the Water Temple back in its box. And I am sort of, hey, sneak preview for upcoming month. I am feeling a little bit, I don't know, watery, and I don't know. I feel like these two decks might be making lots of appearances next month, but who am I to make promises I can't keep, huh? Time for a single one. This one has been in a box for the longest time. Rarely ever used it. Has still survived many a purge, and kind of want to play with this, y'all. I was listening to the Wildly Tarot podcast because I had read their book, and I actually never heard of that podcast before. Call me stupid, call me illiterate, but their book was great. I'm gonna go more into that in my June Reflections July selections video that's coming up someday soon. But anyways, they have a really cool podcast where they just do readings for people, and then they talk about a deck, and I found that concept really interesting. And they talked about this deck, and I'm still listening to it, but the sheer mention of this made me go, and their enthusiasm about it made me go, hey, I have this. So let's see what card we get, and then we're going to just flip through from the top. Oh, I love that. So the card I got was Magic Happens When You Most Expect It, which I love. My camera's having some problems picking up the hyper vibrant colors of this, I see. I don't know why that is. But we very much get a really cool, sigilly looking, sacred geometry looking, colorful text deck. And this is what I talk about when I say, you know, do I necessarily need all the elaborate illustrations? No. I can work fine with something that is just like this. And I really like it. This card, not so much. The Creator of Fire cards, no, don't like those. Stop, Drop, and Ground is something that I do say myself sometimes, so who am I to act all cool and edgy when I myself am a big oaf like that sometimes. Also really cool, the first 22 cards line up with the major arcana of the tarot, so that's interesting. Yeah, another one of those creator water cards. Nah. But, you know, they're all very interesting, and I like it a lot, and I feel like I should use it more. I should use this more, and I feel like it's really interesting. I love this. And this is very much about, you know, this is an Oracle deck for creators, and I am a creator. So, you know, why not use it a little bit more? And it's good. You know, it's got good keywords. It's fun. And that's another one where I feel like everyone is using the Light Seers. Everyone is using the Tarot of the Curious Creatures. Everyone is using the Muse Tarot. And then this, like, I never see it anywhere on Instagram. And I'm like... So, up next is a really weird one. This is old. Like, this has been around. And, you know, Sandra and Taylor's decks are an acquired taste. But they are very much about fortune telling. They are very much about, you know, if you're kind of tired of tarot, but still want a balanced Oracle deck that has everything, that has the good, the bad, and the ugly, this is a very good pick. Even if the artwork is a little dated, maybe, you know, is a little 2000s maybe, which it is. This is probably Jenna Della Grottalia's first deck she did for Hay House, I feel, or one of the first she did for Hay House. But this deck is good, y'all. Like, there's, as you can see, there's lots of gorgeous, like, shiny, pretty cards, but there's also some darker themes in here, which I like a lot, and it's a really good deck. I also have her tarot, Akashic Tarot, which is not really a tarot, but it's fun and interesting, at least. And I kind of want to get some of her other decks as well, but, you know, I have so many decks, so why not enjoy what I have, you know? Like, and I have some pretty cool shit. Like, I honestly feel like this is still, even though some of the art looks a little outdated, I don't know, it sort of brings me back to a time, to a simpler time. Deceit, ooh, I love that. So, I don't know, I really feel like this is sort of a mix of tarot, Normond Kipper, what's the name of that again? Not Sibylla. Oracle Beline. Very much that, and I love it a lot. And the guidebook is really thick and chunky. I was kind of contemplating Wisdom of the Oracle by Colette Baron Reed or this, but, you know, I don't know. This one has my total heart. And it's, once again, all of these that I've shown right now are literally, like, I believe most of these you can get even under $20 US, and some of them maybe 25, but yeah. Another, like, this is another set, and then we're done for tonight, are these two sets that I just adore. Gods and Titans, Goddesses and Sirens. This one I've had the longest. This is actually in need of a replacement because the cards are literally chipping really badly. This I haven't had that long because you know, there's 20,000 decks like this, and there's literally only one deck like this out there. So obviously this had my priority, which you can understand if you have been following me for a while, and you kind of, you know what I find important in decks. So obviously this is the Gods deck, and then we have the Goddess deck right here. Some pet peeves that I have. Why are there more Goddess cards than there are God cards? I don't know why. It must not have been that hard to find a couple of extra gods, but, you know, choices were made. We get Jimmy Manton's art, which I love. He's my favorite artist out there. And then we get a really simple concept. You get the name of the deity and a good keyword. And that's all you need. And then in the guidebook, you can learn about, then you can learn about these deities. What would have been really cool is if they had similar backs, so you could literally like use them as one big deity deck. That would have been really dope. But I honestly wouldn't mind having another god deck, another deity deck with, the male gods, because, there have been so many decks where we get told about the perspectives of, all those goddesses, and I have all those decks, and I love all those decks, but I want more of this. I love this Persephone illustration. I think it's really interesting, really dope. Jimmy took a lot of creative freedom when he created this, and I really, really like it. I don't really know what the obsession is with Ul or Uller, because this is going to sound like blasphemy, but from what I've read, he's not even really considered a god in all, of the... What's the name of those books again? Whatever. He's not. So it's kind of up for debate if he's part of the gods. But it's a cool illustration. And what's so funny, especially with the god deck, I never get the cards I want. I want this card. I want to be hunky Thor, or ready for action, and I always get some lame card that I don't want. I've had this deck for years, and I've never gotten... let's see if we find a card that I've never gotten. I love this, but look at these two together. Set Chaos, Baba Yaga, Authenticity. Love that. I've had Vulcan all the time, which is a cool card. I've had Garuda, but I've never had Vishnu, for example. I get Prometheus all the time. I get Bayame all the time. I get Apuch all the time. But I never get Anubis. And I never get Dionysus. And I get Mithras all the time. Akat I got a lot. I got the Green Man recently, but it's the first time in all these years that I've had this deck that I got him. I never get Osiris, which would have been really cool. I never get Kernunos, which would have been really cool. Yeah, I never had Vishnu. But you know what? I really, really, really like these decks. Man, if you ever get tired of tarot, I really love Poseidon. Never had him. And then there's more goddess cards because, goddesses are easier apparently to think about. But, that doesn't really matter. I love these decks. If you get tired of tarot, you know what? Treat yourself to a cool oracle deck about a topic that you find interesting. Think of Stacey DeMarco what you will. I feel like I don't like the artist that she works with right now. That artist makes great art, but it's not my cup of tea. I loved her work with Jimmy. But Stacey DeMarco knows how to write a deck, and she has a new one coming out with Rockpool now that looks really adorable. So yeah, I'm definitely picking that up. I think it's called the Wishcraft Oracle or something like that. Stacey has very accessible decks with, usable good keywords that are easy to pick up and use, and, sometimes that's fun. And these were basically all of my mass market decks that you can get for, most of them you can get for under $20 US, and I like them a lot. Thank you for watching, and bye, bitch.